Jonathan. Welcome to our market report for October 2022. And it is a very interesting market. I know a lot of people are hearing negative news because of interest rates. So I'm going to try to clarify things for you by using factual data rather than just speculative data, which some stuff is coming out of Ontario, and they're trying to speak for all of Canada. And every market is local, especially Alberta. We don't follow the trends of Eastern Canada. So let's take a look at the absorption rate for Edmonton. This is detached houses, and you can see our absorption rate for October was 17.29%. And you might look at that and think, well, that's not all that great. I mean, that means less than 18% of the houses listed sold. And you're right. I mean, that is definitely down considerably from where we were in the spring. So there's no question that interest rates have had an impact. But if you go back in time, and if you look right here, October last year, we were at 24.65%. So we're not really down that much from a year ago. And also keep in mind that a year ago, the market was picking up and it was gaining some momentum, and it was at a higher level than it had been all the way from 2015 to 2020. So I can tell you that in 2017, 18, 19, we were hovering around 17% absorption rate during that time. So really what we've done is we've gotten back to more of the normal market that we saw previous to COVID. So it's still, it's still definitely a buyer's market, but it's not all bad if you're a seller. It just means you have to really be realistic if you're a seller. That means you need to work with an agent that knows what they're doing. They know how to market to the right buyers, that can give you guidance and have resources to help you get your home ready so it stands out above the competition. And really, if you do that, you'll do just fine. And if you're a buyer in a market like this, you can be patient and you can look for the right deal, and there will be some opportunities. What you will find right now, though, is we're not seeing a lot of job loss. And so interest rates might slow down the market. But unlike other markets where we've had situations where we're in a recession and there's job losses and oil prices are really low and people have to get out, we're not seeing as much of that now. We're seeing people who want to sell, but not necessarily desperate to sell. And I think that's what will probably hold our prices up a little bit coming into 2023. Our average price is at $469,061. So that's down slightly from September. Down 1.19%. So we didn't see any major drop, month over month. Obviously, if that was to continue every single month, we would start to notice the corrections. But I'm not so sure that's going to happen. I mean, none of us ever know for sure, but I don't think that's going to happen. And you can see where we are at looking at our average sale price compared to where we've come from, and we're definitely going in the right direction. Numbers, that's 591 homes out of 3,418 have sold. So not too far off from September, definitely down from August. You can see the trend from where the market was red hot in the spring and how it's tapered off now coming into the fall months. It still only takes about 46 days to sell your house. So if you are sitting on the market longer than 46 days, there's got to be a reason. It might be price. It might be that there's poor marketing being done. Maybe your home isn't quite as ready for sale as it should be. You should be really looking hard at the reasons why it's not selling if it hasn't sold around 46 days. Here's our market distribution. It's one of my favorite ways of gauging where the buyers are, and you can see the sweet spot for Edmonton is $400,000 to $500,000. And still a lot of homes, 24% are 300 to 400,000. When you really look at the big picture for a market as large as Edmonton, Edmonton is really an affordable place to live. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of migration coming out of Ontario where the cost of living has gotten to be outrageous. And Edmonton offers a lot of value when it comes to that. I mean, you can get a pretty decent property anywhere between $300,000 and $600,000. I mean, that's literally 60% of the market right there, and that offers a lot of really good value. Let's take a look at the condo market. So our absorption rate here, 15.73%. So a little bit less than the detached market, but we've noticed that this has picked up primarily because for some people, especially buying your first home, the interest rates have maybe taken you out of getting into that detached house that maybe you would have wanted to get a year ago. And now, you're looking at maybe getting a condo to get into the market where it's still really affordable. But we're also seeing a lot of people buying these as investment properties, especially townhouses, because townhouses are a pretty popular product because there's about as close to a detached house as you can get without having to pay the cost of a detached house. And you can see our average price is $338,000. I mean, that's just very, very affordable. Down 1.66% from September. So, we are seeing a little bit of price correction there, just nothing major, just a little bit right now. And I think part of it is too, keep in mind, it is late in the fall, and there's a cyclical thing because most buyers and sellers prefer to move in the spring. So, traditionally, we do lose a little traction and prices soften a little bit this time of year, which, by the way, does make it kind of a interesting situation for you. If you're selling, you can potentially find maybe a buyer who's motivated, because if they're looking in December, they probably need to find a property, and that could be a good thing if you're a seller. Also, if you're a buyer, the inventory levels are going to drop, but you also know that if you're on the market in December, you're probably a little bit motivated to sell. So you can see that there can be some opportunities for both sides being on the market or looking in the market this time of year. That's 325 homes out of 2,000, or 325 condos rather, out of 2,066 that sold. So again, slightly down from September, slightly down from August. Part of it being interest rates, part of it just being the time of year that it is. Takes a little longer to sell a condo. That's 55 days on average on the market. So you can just expect that, and especially again this time of year. Now you can also see the condo market, 47.58% is under $200,000. And that's where the majority of buyers are for Edmonton for these condos. And there's quite a bit of a selection there as well. That's why it's very affordable to get in to either your first time home or downsize into a condo, maybe if the kids are all grown and you just want to have that lifestyle where you don't have to do anything, or even as an investor that just wants to be able to rent these out. Lots of opportunity here. That's pretty affordable living, and I'm convinced that that will change over time. I actually think with Toronto and Vancouver, as expensive as they are, and even those markets are correcting, when you take a look at the massive gap between the price of a house in Edmonton and the price of a house just about anywhere in Ontario, it's a massive difference. And I have a feeling that that is going to bring a lot of people to come here, and it's probably going to raise these prices over the next several years. So this could be a very good time to be able to get into the market. As always, if you want to get a more detailed understanding of where you're at for your property, just keep in mind, I'm looking at the overall Edmonton market here. I'm not looking at specific neighborhoods. Every neighborhood is a little different. Every house is a little different. So, having an expert take a really solid look at some of the features of your home and what the approximate value would be, we provide that, no cost, no obligation. A lot of times people just need to know in order to make some decisions, even if those decisions are for the future. So just reach out to us. And on top of that, we give you some great advice on how to prepare your property. Sometimes some of the smallest things that we can give you some guidance on can really make the difference. And if you're buying a property, reach out to us. There's ways that we can teach you how to do this successfully. I've done this for 22 years. So I know some of the ways of finding well-priced properties and how to protect you when we do find them. and give you some great advice on the process so that you don't make a mistake. We're dealing in large amounts of money, so it's good to have someone that's done this a lot be able to give you some guidance. So again, just reach out and we will see you next month.